Welcome back, and thank you for once again letting me into your world, even if it's only for a minute. The piece of artwork behind me is one I created in paint shop, and I call it Black Hole Sun. Now, if it looks a little lonely to you, I guess it's because I was feeling a little lonely when I created it. Which brings me to my topic for today. I believe we all feel a little lonely sometimes. Even someone with 50,000 friends on social media feels lonely sometimes, if they're being honest with themselves. In fact, I recently read an article from Psychology Today that talked about an epidemic of loneliness, especially among younger people. So if you ever feel lonely, just know this: you're not alone. Others feel that way too. Of course, loneliness is not the same thing as just being alone. Sometimes we all need to be alone so we can recharge our batteries and reflect on our inner selves without the static and distraction of other people pulling at the very fibers of our attention. No, when I talk about loneliness, I mean that feeling of isolation, the sadness, the hurt, the feeling that no one understands what we're going through. This can often be so intense it manifests itself into physical pain. I think one of the most significant emotional wounds caused by loneliness is the erosion of self-esteem. People who feel chronically lonely may begin to internalize a belief that they are unworthy of love, leading to a negative self-image that causes them to withdraw even further from social interaction. And from there, this downward spiral can lead to a perpetual cycle of negative thought patterns, fostering a sense of hopelessness and despair. In extreme cases, these feelings of emptiness can lead to mental health issues such as anxiety and depression. So what causes you to feel lonely? Well, certainly that's a subjective question that can only be answered by the individual. But there are several common factors that contribute to this epidemic of loneliness. Each plays a role in shaping the emotional landscape with which we view our world. One is the rise of social media. Paradoxically held as a tool for connection, it can often foster feelings of isolation, because in an age of unprecedented connectivity, the nature of online personas can create unrealistic expectations and lead to a sense of inadequacy when comparing ourselves to others. Another factor is the modern work culture, which has also played a role in the exasperation of the loneliness epidemic. Since the COVID pandemic, as face-to-face interactions diminished at many workplaces, this sense of camaraderie and genuine connection that comes from physical interaction is often lost, leaving workers feeling even more isolated. But I don't mean to be all doom and gloom, because there is good news. The good news is there are ways to overcome loneliness, or at least diminish its effects. I find, personally, the best cure for loneliness is to go out and connect with someone, a real human, in the real world, even if it's just for a little while. Unfortunately, that means you might have to step away from your screen for a minute, which is not as easy as it sounds for some people. After all, suffering through the agonizing withdrawal from pulling that internet needle out of your arm is not something everyone is ready for. But I believe in you, and I believe you can do this. Here's just a few examples of some actionable strategies almost anyone can use to combat loneliness. Of course, the first one is counseling and therapy. There's no shame in seeking professional help from a therapist who can provide guidance and support. Helping us explore the root causes of our loneliness can in turn lead to coping strategies. Although therapy is not for everyone because it can be expensive and time-consuming. Plus, you have to find a therapist you can trust to keep their mouth shut about your personal business. A better and more immediate strategy is community engagement. Engage in community activities or join clubs that align with your own personal interests. This gives you an opportunity to meet like-minded individuals, fostering connections based on shared interests. Another actionable strategy is volunteer work. Volunteer work not only contributes to a greater cause within the community, leading to a feeling of importance for yourself, but it also offers a chance to connect with others who share similar values with you. Working together towards a common goal can forge meaningful relationships. Then there's social groups. If that's more your thing, join groups focused on special interests, whether it's a book club or a community organization. These gatherings provide a supportive environment to share experiences and connect with others. You could also learn a new skill in a group setting, join a class or workshop, whether it's painting, cooking, learning a new language, or some other hobby. Learning in a group setting naturally facilitates interactions with others who share similar interests. And finally, you can get yourself a pet. If you're not ready yet, or just too shy to connect with other people, consider adopting a pet. Animals can provide companionship, emotional support, and unconditional love. And when you're ready, taking your pet for a walk outside can create opportunities for social interactions with other pet lovers. And here's a bonus tip. Let's not forget the importance of mindfulness and self-reflection. Mindfulness and self-reflection can help us to understand and address the root causes of our loneliness. This self-awareness can lead to personal growth and a more proactive approach to building meaningful connections. Sort of like what a therapist can do for you, but on your own time and on your own dime. In conclusion, if you ever find yourself feeling crushed by the heavy weight of loneliness, try incorporating one or more of these practical strategies into your daily life. They can help you actively combat loneliness, fostering a sense of improved overall well-being. And now I leave you with this quote from an American writer and humorist, Kurt Vonnegut. What should young people do with their lives today? Many things, obviously, but the most daring thing is to create stable communities in which the terrible disease of loneliness can be cured. Something to think about.